Suswagatam to everybody. Let us start with our prayer to invitation to Panini. So please, those who are here, you can just recite. Please start with our salutation. Yenaksharasamaamnayam
येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम्
adhigamya maheswarat
अधिगम्य महेश्वरात्
कृत्स्नं
तस्मै
व्याकरणं
पाणिनिये नमः
प्रोक्तम्
कृत्स्नं
नं
व्याकरणं
व्याकरणं प्रोक्तम्
तस्मै पाणिनये नमः.
तस्मै
तस्मै
पाणिनये
पाणिनये नमः.
नमः
So this is all our salutation to our great teacher. So as you can understand, let us will start today. We'll listen to Professor Kulkarni, who has been working with computer, with all the Sanskrit texts. He is trying to now bring in the computation system, how computationally Sanskrit grammar and Shabdavodha. I had also earlier told our participant that Nyaya, the Sabdavodha and Vyakarana cannot be separated. They are all inseparable. So today we'll see how Madam demonstrate how much grammar and Nyaya and linguistics, computer, how much they are well connected. So we cannot study one without the other. So let us begin with today. So I request Professor Kulkarni, Amba Madam, to deliver her lecture. Thank you, Madam, for joining with us.
Namaskar. Namaskar, sir. Namaste. Yesterday, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So yesterday we have seen uh, this e-reader. We looked at e-reader, and I also showed you one shloka from Sankshepa Ramayanam, and we saw how we can understand the shloka using the theories of Shabdabodha. So machine helps us in understanding this. Just I thought I will give one more example from this. Let us today go to Bhagavad Gita. So here we have these various chapters. I can take any of these. So we have here the shlokas. Now suppose I want to understand this shloka. Društva tu pandavanikam vyudham duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. So here you see all the analysis as I explained yesterday. Abravit, this red color says that it is a verb. Now, abravit means spoke, kaha. Naturally, we have these expectancies. Who saw, who said, what did he say, etc. So, because this is in Kartari Prayoga, Karta will be in Prathama, and we have here two words, Raja and Duryodhana, which are in Prathama. Then Vachanam is in Dvitiya, so Raja Duryodhanaha Vachanam Abravit. But we also have Vyudham Pandavanikam and Acharyam. And what we see is there are these subordinate clauses or the Krudantas, Društva, Upasangamya, and Vyudham Pandavanikam. This satisfies the Akanksha of Društva. What did he saw? After seeing the Pandava Sena and Upasangamya, approaching or going near, to whom? Naturally, there is an expectancy, going near whom? Acharyam. So, we have all these expectancies fulfilled. But as you see, here what we have shown is the Dandanvaya of this shloka. In shloka, the word order is totally different. Here, the word order is totally different. If you want to see the shloka order, there is a button here at the right hand corner, shloka order. Click on this and you will see the shloka or the words in the same shloka order. And here you see that Pandavanikam Vyudham they are in reverse order. Vyudham is the Visheshana of Pandavanikam. Visheshana is coming after this. Okay? And Raja and Duryodhana, they are totally separated. So, here I would like to mention few things. We saw that Akanksha, Yogyata and Sannidhi, these three are important for understanding the any text. We look at the akanshas of the verbs and then search for the words which satisfy the akanshas. Then while while searching the words, we also see that they have yogyata for being a karma, for being a karta, etc. I will give one example of what is meant by yogyata so that things will become clear. So I give one sentence. Yanam vanam gacchati. Okay, this is the sentence. Yanam vanam gacchati. I submit it to machine. Now, why I'm asking machine to do it? Because I want to show you what are all possibilities. Okay, and then how, with the help of machine, we can understand the text. So even if we know little bit of Sanskrit, still with the help of machine we can understand a sentence. So here you see yanam vanam gacchati. Now this yanam is napunsaka pullinga ekavachana. You know that if the forms of words in napunsaka, they are same in prathama and dvitiya. Vanam vane vanani prathama, vanam vane vanani dvitiya. So here we have, machine had chosen yanam. Here machine had chosen yanam in prathama and vanam in dvitiya. So look how the machine is intelligent. It has chosen the correct word, correct form. Actually, yanam, there are two analysis possible. Napunsaka prathama ekvachan, napunsaka dvitiya ekvachan. For vanam also, napunsaka prathama ekvachan, napunsaka dvitiya ekvachan. In addition, there are other things, let us not go in those details. So there are multiple analysis possible. But then, though there are two analysis possible, machine had chosen yana to be napunsaka prathama ekvachan. So in this C row, it is showing all possible analysis of the word yana. Okay. Here it is showing all possible analysis of vana based on the dictionary. But here machine had chosen only one among these. In this context, it says yana is napunsaka prathama ekvachan and vana is napunsaka dvitiya ekvachan. How it has chosen this? Of course, we have given some heuristics to do it. But then, from the human being's point of view, gam is the dhatu. So, gamana is movement, and this movement can be done only by something which can move from one place to another. So it can be Chetana Prani, not Vanaspati. Vanaspatis are Achala. So we want something which is Chala. And even Achetana Vastu, but which is Chala, like Yana, which is Achetana, but it is Chala. So we want something which is Chala, which can move from one place to another. That can be Karta. This is the Yogyata. So we need to tell machine that there is Yogyata in these two, and therefore connect Yana to Gam Dhatu. Don't connect Vana to Gam Dhatu. So as a Karta. And thus machine produces Yanam as Karta and Vanam as Gacchati. Now, uh, if we look at the meanings of these words in Indian tradition, typically the meanings are considered to be at three levels. One is the abhidha, that is the direct meaning that is being expressed by the word. Then there is lakshana, that is the secondary meaning. Now, what is the lakshana? Let me give an example. The standard example given in the uh, tradition is Gangayam Ghoshaha. That is, there is a village on the river Ganga. You cannot have a village on the river. It will be by the side of the river, on the banks of the river. So, the correct usage should be Gangayam Ghoshaha. Actually, this is there in every language. We use these words to mean, to extend the meaning. For example, I say my house is on 80 feet road. The house cannot be on the road. It is by the side of the road. So, this is a very common usage. Similarly, we say today is a bank holiday. Now, here by bank, we mean the institution, okay? And there is a holiday for the institution. But we also say, I went to the bank. So actually, I went to the building where this bank is, the building for the bank. Okay, this institution is a very abstract concept, but for that institution there is a building. So when I say I went to the bank, actually I have gone to the bank. Okay, and bank manager. So this manager is related to not just the building, but it is related to the institution. So sometimes we use the word for institution, sometimes we use the word for the building. These are the extensions. One of them is the primary meaning, abhidha, and the other meanings are the extended meaning, lakshana is there. Now here, in this sentence also, yanam vanam gacchati, we can think it of like this. Let me give another example. When suppose there is a fire in the forest and nearby village gets burnt because of that fire, then we say that the village is burning, right? Pura gaon jal raha tha. Now, what do we mean by village is burning? Everything in that village is burning, okay? So, this village now is not representing only the physical space, but all the people, the things that are there, like the animals, the trees, everything collectively is this village. Here also, this vana, forest, is the abhidha, direct meaning, but everything that is there in the forest, people staying there, can be considered as an extended meaning. So we can think of another analysis, and I will show you what is that analysis. So machine is saying there are two possible analysis. Yana can be in prathama ekvachan or dvitiya ekvachan. Vana also can be in prathama ekvachan or dvitiya ekvachan. If you select yana as prathama, you get karta, and if yana is karta, automatically vana will be karma. Look, this is like a Sudoku. When you solve Sudoku, let me undo it. In Sudoku, many of you might have been solving this puzzle. you have to put the numbers 1, 2, 3 in specific, uh, following specific restrictions, that there can be only one number in every row, only one number in every column. It should not be repeated. Within that 3 by 3 box, again, the numbers should not be repeated, and so on. Similarly, in Indian tradition also, for all these karakas, etc., some constraints are given, some restrictions are given. There cannot be two karmas, of course, except the dvikarmakas. Uh, there will be only one karaka. If there are more than one words with the same vibhakti, linga, vachana, etc., then they are visheshanas of each other. And Patanjali discusses one example, Bhishmam Katam Kuru. So, where he says, Katam is the karma and Bhishmam is the visheshana for Katam. So, there is a restriction that if there are words with same vibhakti linga vachana, one of them is vishesha, others are all visheshanas. And then this is discussed in Mimamsa also under the Arunadhikarana Nyaya. So from there we got the hint that there should be, there is this restriction. And then it came to my mind, like this Sudoku, we can solve this puzzle. We can use machine to solve this puzzle. So the puzzle is Yana can be karta or karma, Vana can be karma and karta. So if I choose Yana as karta, automatically Vana as karta will be ruled out. And if I use Vana as karta, automatically Yana as karta will be ruled out, Yana will be karma. Now the question is there yogyata for Vana to become a karta? And as I said, Vana can be karta under the extended sense, under the lakshana. If we consider the lakshyartha of Vana, what is that lakshyartha here? Vana means all the people staying in Vana, residing in Vana. If we take that meaning, then Vana can be karta. But then, what is this yanam gacchati, vanam yanam gacchati? All the people are going to yana. Yanam prati gacchati. Why? New vehicle BMW has arrived in a forest and people are going to see that BMW. They want to see how beautiful, how powerful it is and all that. So, this is possible, but this is not the first meaning. Now, how do you decide whether something is first or second? Again, our tradition has given some hints. What are those hints? It is said that among the Abhidha, Lakshana and Vyanjana, a word has three possible meanings, Abhidha and Lakshana and Vyanjana. Vyanjana I have not told you, and I will come to that little later. Among these three, if Abhidha is applicable, then you need to go to Abhidha, use Abhidha, and only when there is no Abhidhartha possible, then you go to Lakshana. This is what is said in the tradition in Mimamsa. So, that is why when you see this analysis, here the Abhidhartha is used first, we give first priority to it, and the Lakshana will come later. That is the second choice. If this is not applicable because of some or the other reasons, okay, maybe in the given context, some story is being told about the forest dwelling people, then this is not the meaning. And the meaning is the forest dwelling people had gone to see the Vana, etc. And there, the poet or the author might have used Vanam instead of saying the people staying in forest. The author might have used Vanam to mean the people staying in forest. In such cases, Lakshana is used. So the context decides whether the Abhidha is to be used or Lakshana is to be used in a given situation. And therefore, machine is producing both the answers. Machine is not stopping the second answer, because in a given situation, the second reading might be the correct one. But by default, it is the first reading. If nothing is given, only this sentence is uttered, then it is the first meaning that comes to our mind, and therefore that is chosen as the first one. Uh, so now, since we are at this Abhida Lakshana and Vyanjana, let me also tell about the Vyanjana and whether we can handle Vyanjana with a computer or not. That also let us see. Vyanjana, Vyangitartha, Vyangyartha is something which is a suggestive meaning. So, the again, I take examples that are discussed in the standard literature. The example is Gatostama Arkaha. The sun is getting set. Okay. It is the evening time, sun is getting set. Now, this sentence can be uttered by different people, for different people, in different contexts, to mean different things. Now, see how many variables are there. Let me give examples so that the things become clear. Excuse me. Sorry, I have very bad cold. So, so the sentence is astos as the sun is setting. Gatostam arkaha. So, this may be uttered by a mother to a child who is playing outside, that look, sun is getting set, now it is getting dark. So she wants to say, she means that it is getting dark, better you stop playing and come back home. So in that situation, she is using this sentence. It is possible that this sentence is being uttered by a woman for her husband, indicating that it is now the time for doing Sandhya Vandana. Or it may be uttered by a lover to, by a lady to his lover, her lover, that look, now it is getting dark, let us go for a walk. It's evening time, let us go for a walk. So, the situations might be different, the hearer and listener might be different, and the meaning might be different. But what is the abhidharth? Abhidha, that is the primary meaning, is sun is getting set. All others are suggestive meanings. And these suggestive meanings are understood by these different listeners differently, depending on the context, depending on who is telling, who is uttering that sentence and all that. So, these suggestive meanings, because they are not objective in nature, they are subjective in nature. They depend on the subject, the person to whom it is addressed or who is addressing. What is the situation? All these are factors that are necessary to understand this meaning. For a computer, it's not possible to get that meaning, right? And here again, you will see that the authors or poets, they are very creative and they use such sentences very, very creatively to suggest some new meaning, which brings in some charm in the poetry. Now, such things the present computers cannot handle. But it is possible to teach some of these Vyangyartha to machine. How? Using the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning techniques that are being now explored. It is possible to teach these things. But the present day computers cannot handle it. Or the current system, since it considers only one sentence at a time and produces the parsed output, the machine cannot decide to whom this sentence is being uttered, etc. But if you are processing paragraphs and if you look at the sangatis that are involved, this is something, the new research direction I am telling about. If you process complete paragraph or complete text at a time and try to analyze the intersentential relations, how one sentence is connected to another and so on. What is the sangati, the term that is used in our literature for discourse relations is sangati. So how coherent the text is, what are the coherence relations if we study, and if we model it for machine, then it is possible, it might be possible, I'm not saying it is possible, it might be possible for machine to handle the Vyangyartha also. But for the time being, it is not handling Vyangyartha, and Yogyata also, it is not very easy to handle. Such Yogyata it can handle, and why I will show you. We have very good resources in our tradition for handling some kind of Yogyata. So I am going to come to that after some time. Okay. Extremely sorry for this. Okay, so we get this yanam vanam gachati as karta and karma. So we have seen the yogyata, akanksha, and now let me come to sannidhi, the third aspect of it. So let me give one example. Ramaha dugdham pītva shalam gacchati. I am typing in notation, WX notation. This is what I have typed in. Ramaha dugdham pītva shalam gacchati. I submit this to the machine. It will take some few seconds. So here we see machine has produced some analysis, and what is that? Shalam gacchati. Shala is the karma. Pitva is the purva kala sambandha with gacchati. For gacchati, what are the For gacchati, we have kaha gacchati, kutra gacchati. So we have Ramaha gacchati, Shalam gacchati. And Pitva indicates the Purva Kala Sambandha, as you might have studied, that Tva suffix indicates the Purva Kala. So this activity precedes this activity. And for Pitva again, there is an expectancy. Who drinks and what does he drink? So Dugdham is there, but Ramaha is expressed only once. So there is a sutra by Panini, and Panini says Samana Kartrukayoho Purva Kale Tva. This twa suffix comes if both of them, both the activities, if there are two activities and one activity is in the Purvakala, then the Purvakala activity gets twa suffix if both these activities have the same karta. So this is the rule which is implemented, and here this dot 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 says that this we have got through the rule samana kartrukayoho purvakale. Now here this parse is correct. Let us see what is the other parse. So the other parts actually is because this pitva can be with another verb p. There is one p dhatu and another pa dhatu, and both of them have twa purvakala. In twa suffix the rupa is same, the form is same, and therefore we have these two analysis. But look at this. Actually, machine could have marked shalam as the karma for pitva and dugdham as the karma for gachati. If it just looks at the vibhakti, right? This is possible, and let me show you. I had chosen here prose order, but if I choose shloka order, now you may say, how can you say this? Let me have example sentence. Ramaha shalam pitva dugdham gacchati. This is good, right? Ramaha shalam pitva dugdham gacchati. So, suppose, of course, I am giving the same example. Rama dugdham pitva shalam gacchati, and I say that it is, consider it as a shloka. See, in shloka there is free word order. That means words can be moved here and there. In Anvaya, typically the word order is fixed. So here you see the first sentence, first analysis is the same, but there are now multiple analysis possible, and one analysis is Dugdha is the karma for gachati and pitva is the karma. Let me take this pa. Pitva is the karma for this, and we have this analysis. Machine has produced some other analysis which actually does not make sense because there is no yogyata. Dugdham gachati and shalam pitva. There is no yogyata. But then why machine has failed here to produce the, why machine has not ruled it out? Machine has produced the correct analysis, the one which we saw. In addition, it has produced this. Why should machine produce this analysis? This is the question. And the answer to this is, here the yogyata between these two words is not known to machine, whether there is yogyata or not. In some cases machine knows the yogyata, in some cases machine does not know the yogyata. Why it is like this? It's because unless we understand the meaning, unless machine understands the meaning of the word, it cannot decide whether some activity has yogyata for some other, some activity has some object has an yogyata to be a karaka for some activity. For this, lot of word knowledge is needed. You need to know how the objects are classified, whether it is a dravya or guna or karma, etc. So we have this Vaisheshik ontology where the padarthas are classified into sapta padarthas, dravya guna kriya, and then samanya vishesha samavaya and abhava. Further dravya is further subclassified into prithvi, apa, teja, vayu, manas and so on, dikkala, etc. Gunas are classified into Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha and so on. So, this classification actually will help us in deciding whether there is yogyata or not. How? One example I had given, the yana is chala and therefore it can be karta for gachati. Now, where do we get this information of um classification of these words? In our tradition, this classification is mentioned in Vaisheshik ontology. But we do not have any kosha which marks this information. So, what we did was, because we needed this information, we okay, so I should not have closed it. We looked at the Amar Kosha and we extended this Amar Kosha with this information. So let me tell you something about the Amar Kosha. Now, this Amar Kosha, we know, is the most celebrated and authoritative ancient thesaurus of Sanskrit, where the Paryayavachi Shabdas are given. It is one of the books which an Indian child learning through Indian traditional education system memorizes as early as his first year of formal learning. Now, here the child is asked to memorize all these shlokas. These shlokas, if we consider it just a linear list of words, but if you inspect them closely, though it appears as a linear list of words, close inspection of it shows a rich organization of words expressing various relations a word bears with other words. So, if we look at the structure of Amar Kosha, how the words are classified, he classifies the words, some 10,000 words are there, into various vargas. Okay, Swarga Varga is there, then Manushya Varga, Maishya Varga, Kshatriya Varga, Shudra Varga, Vanaspati Varga is there, Manaushadhi Varga. So, various Simhadi Varga is there. So, various these Vargas are there where he has collected all the words that belong to that particular word, that particular Varga. And then, while organizing what he does, let us take the example of Vishnu. So first he gives all the synonyms of Vishnu. Then at some point in time he says, okay, Vishnu's son is this, Vishnu's father is this. Okay, when he talks about Kamadeva or Pradyumna, he talks about the Kama Banas. Okay, then he also introduces Vasudeva, Lakshmi. Then he talks about various ayudhas which Vishnu has, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, etc. Then his Sevaka, Garuda, Vahana, Garuda, and so on. Mantri is mentioned. So all this, so you just imagine a student is memorizing all these things, and when he is told that this is the relation of this, how the words are related, etc., some kind of picture emerges in his mind about Vishnu. All these things get interconnected. So, network of this information starts establishing in his brain. And this network, and this happens with all of us every time. Whenever we study new things, the old things which were related, they get connected to the new things and a new network gets established in our mind. So we thought, why not make this make this available to those, this network that emerges in our mind when we memorize this. Why not make this available to the others who have not memorized it? So when a child studies the Samar Kosha, the linear list of words unfolds into a knowledge web, and this particular web tool which we have developed is an effort to make this implicit knowledge in Amar Kosha, where we have sloka after sloka and the words are connected to each other. That implicit knowledge we have made explicit in this knowledge net of Amar Kosha. So let me give this word Vishnu. And tell you what are the Paryayavachi Shabdas that are given in Amar Kosha. These are Vishnu Narayana Krishna Vaikuntha Vishtarashrava Sadamodara Rushikesha Keshava Madhava Swabhudaityari Pundarikaksha Govinda Karudadvaja Pitambara Achyuta Sharngina, and so on. So all these are various um, these are the Paryayavachi Shabdas for Vishnu. So suppose you are composing some Sanskrit text and you have not uh, recited, you have not memorized Amar Kosha. Now we have a tool. You can use this tool and get the equivalent word. Okay, and you want to know whether it should fit in the meter, etc. So you can choose from these. You may like to use this word in a specific vibhakti. So for example, Lakshmipati. You want to use Lakshmipati and you do not know what is the Panchami Vibhakti Prathama Ekavachana Rupa of this. So you click on Lakshmipati and machine will show you that Panchami Prathama is Lakshmipatehe. So machine helps us in getting the getting the forms, etc. And again you can go to this Lakshmipati. There is a dictionary, Apte's dictionary. It says this is the Vishnu, this is the Visheshana of Vishnu. Okay, and it also gives examples, etc., quotations and other things. If you do not know Hindi but you want English equivalent, English translation, that there is a Sanskrit English dictionary and you can get the English uh, meaning, or you can also get a French meaning, okay, and so on. So okay, so let me stop this. These are the Paryayavachi Shabdas. But if you want to know what is the Padartha Tattva Vichara ontology, okay, it says it is a Dravya, it is Atma, and it is the Ishvara. Vishnu is the Ishvara. So under these Nava Dravyas, further it is classified as Ishvara. Let us take another word, say Hasta. Okay, I take Hasta and let us see what is, sorry, it is changing it. Okay, Hasta. It says Hasta is a Avayava. Hasta is also a Nakshatra. Okay, and Nakshatra is classified under Teja, which is a Dravya. So, like this, different words in the dictionary are classified. Yana, let us see if is there in the Amar Kosha. Yes, Yana is there, and it says Yana is of it comes under Prithvi and it is Chala Nirjiva. Now, since it is Chala, we can use it as a karta for Gam Dhatu. Yana, again, there is another meaning, Sandhi Vigraha. This is also called Yana, where this is a kind of guna. So, there are two different meanings of Yana. We were interested in that Vahana. Okay. If I give the same word Vishnu again, and I want to know what are all various relations of Vishnu that are described in Amarkosha, it shows you some graph where it tells Vishnu, Janaka of Vishnu is Vasudeva, Patni of Vishnu is Lakshmi. Now, for Sevya Sevaka as well as Swaswami Bhava, only Sevaka is used. It was not further classified. Just Sevaka is given. So, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Khadga, Mani, Vishnu, Chapa, Vishnu, Ashwa. All these words are given in the Amarkosha. Sarathi, Mantri, Garuda. There is a mention of Lanchana also, which is a Vaishishtya of Vishnu. Further, what is a chakra? Chakra is a ayudha. Vishnu Shankha is type of Shankha, and there are three different meanings of Shankha. Shankha, of course, one is Jalachara Matra. Then there is some variety, another variety of Shankha given in Amarkosha, which is Sukshma Shankha. And with Shankha, Shankha Vadaka is also there. So the for Shankha Vadaka, various words are there. Those are also mentioned in Amarkosha. So for Shankha Vadaka, when he when he what is it called? Shankha jab bajata hai wo. So that is his vritti. He might be getting some money for as a remuneration for blowing the shankha. Lakshmi, the word Lakshmi has several meanings. One is, of course, we know Dhana Samruddhi. But there is one Aushadhi also by in this meaning, and so on. Then we have what is Vishnu? Vishnu is a Deva. How many different Devas are described in Amarkosha? Here we get all this list. Kubera, Vayu, Varuna, Yama, Agni, Ashwina, Kumara, Indra, Kartikeya, Ganesha, Shiva. Then Devas reside in Swarga, so there is some Sambandha. In Swarga there is Deva Sabha. Brahma is another Deva, and the Sanat Kumaras are the sons of Brahma. And then you have various Disha Swamis. And Vishnu is related to Kamadeva, which is again one Deva. So like this, you get complete information that is displayed here. So somebody who wants to understand our mythology or Hindu tradition, how the concepts are related, all these we can show here. Whatever knowledge is implicit in Amarkosha, here we have made it explicit and we are showing it. Similarly, we can. So, this is one aspect of making the implicit knowledge explicit, where you can have more information about our tradition. The other aspect is we are using Vaisheshik ontology to classify each of these words into Dravya Guna Vibhaga, and further Dravya is classified and so on, so that machine knows what is its classification, what is its category, and based on that category, machine can decide whether there is a yogyata for one word to be a karaka for another word. So let me give you another example. Suppose I give the word bana. Instead of showing all relations, let me go to ontology. So this bana is marked as ayudha or upakarana. Now once we know that bana is a ayudha, that means it can be a karana, upakarana. Upakarana itself says it can be a karana. So suppose now we have a sentence Ramena Banena Vali Hataha. Ramena is also in Tritiya. Banena is also in Tritiya. And now machine can decide that Bana is a Karana and Rama is Karta because Rama will be marked as Manushya or Deva and Bana will be marked as Upakarana in Amarkosha. So from this we now have the word knowledge, and that can be used to decipher this. Otherwise, for machine it will be difficult to decide whether Rama is Karta or Karana, because we know that in Karmani Prayoga, Tritiya Vibhakti is used for both Karta as well as Karana. So we have Ramena and Banena. We need to decide which one is Karta and which is Karana. We can decide it based on this word knowledge. So what we have done is Amarkosha is a very good, important kosha which has all these very frequently used 10,000 words which are arranged in a specific order. So we try to understand this classification, try to understand the relations between various words, etc. And in addition, we also try to use the Vaisheshika ontology to further classify these words. So we have the Padartha Tattva Vichara, we have the organization of these words in a specific way. Just 1 minute, there is somebody knocking at the door. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Sorry. So these two things, the ontological classification as well as the organization of Amarkosha we used for uh, for developing this particular interface, and this information that is encoded in Amarkosha we are using for machine translation purpose also, for deciding the roles, karaka roles of different words. But then in some cases it is very easy to decide such things. But suppose we have sentences like dugdham pitva shalam gacchati. For gamana kriya, now we need to mark all these words which can be the destinations, shala, or it can be a palace, or it can be a city, and so on. So we need different kind of information there. Similarly, what are the payas? If you give a list of all payas, then machine can use this information to say that okay, dugdham is a peya and therefore it can be karma for pitva and so on. So we need to give lot of further information, and we still do not have, at least as far as my knowledge goes, in our tradition we do not have such classification of peya, khadya and so on, because whatever whatever we had developed was for human beings, and human beings know which one is peya, which one is khadya, etc. So, uh, our tradition had developed all these algorithms for human beings. They know that human beings know these things. We need not explain these to them. But now, in the age of computers, because computers do not know these things, we need to make this again explicit for computers. Okay, so I will not go in all these further details. Uh, but now, uh, this is one tool which I wanted to show to you. And now I go back. So, I have told you about the e-readers. Uh, I also gave one demonstration of Anusaraka, where you can give that shloka and machine produces the analysis automatically. Yesterday, somebody had asked whether we need to give the shloka after splitting the compounds, etc. And I said, yes, we need to give it in that way. But there is one tool uh, which is uh, developed by one French scholar, Professor Gerard Huet. This is the site, Heritage Sanskrit Heritage site. If you go to this site and click on Reader, and here if you give a complete shloka, uh, I will type in the same Tapasvadhyaya Niratam. Swadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Vag Vidam Varam Naradam Paripapracha Valmikir Muni Pungavam. I have typed in some WX notation and I read this. I had typed this one. Tapasvadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Vagvidam Varam Naradam Paripapracha Valmikir Munipungavam. And machine said, oh, we can split it in 9,152 ways. But then here we have tapaha. So it says tapaha can be either a compound, purva pada of compound. All these yellows are purva padas of compound. Or it can be a standalone noun itself. But we know here in this context, it is the purva pada, swadhyaya is purva pada, tapasvi vagvidam. So vidam we have, vagvidam. And vak is the purva pada. Varam, again, it can be an avyaya or a noun with vara in Dvitiya Vibhakti. I choose it as an indeclinable. Naradam is the name, so I don't split. Paripapracha is one word. Munipungavam, again Pungava. It says it can be a Bahuvrihi or Bahuvrihi with different Vibhakti, Munipungavam. So I think this should be, it's not neuter gender, it is Pullinga because it is the Visheshana for Narada. So I choose this. And now we can ask the machine to do the analysis. I'm not sure whether it will do because this here we have now there is one server at one program at which is developed in France, and we have another program which is developed here in University of Hyderabad. So here their handshaking is still not happening properly. So it has not produced the tree, but it has produce the information that Tapasvi is the Pullinga, Valmiki is Pullinga Ekvachan, and so on. But this is still under the development, and but in near future, in for small sentences, etc., it works very fine. Uh, this needs to be further improved for some complex sentences. If I give a small sentence like, say, mm, Ramo Vanam Gacchati. Okay, suppose I type Ramo Vanam Gacchati. Then, and I say that Ramaha is noun, Gacchati is a verb, and I ask machine to produce the analysis. It will say Rama is the Karta and Vana is the Karma. So this it produces. For bigger sentences, larger sentences, still there are some bugs which we are working on. So this is the answer to your yesterday's question. And now I would like to show you one more tool, and this is for compound generator. Okay, now why I'm showing this, and let me also explain this. Uh, we we have been told that, or even yesterday also I mentioned that Panini's Ashtadhyayi is very computational. The way Panini wrote Ashtadhyayi is uh, something like a computer program. What does it mean? It means if we look at those sutras and try to implement these sutras like a program on machine should be able to generate the word forms. Let me first show you simple example. So I go to this Ashtadhyayi simulator and I give the word Rama. I want to know what is the Tritiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupa of the word Rama. Okay. So I submit this word to machine, and machine now is showing the derivation of Ramena from Rama. So how it is doing this? Panini has given these rules. He says Arthavata Dhatva Pratyaya Pratipadikam. Then he has another rule, Pratyayah Parascha. Tani ekavachana dvivachana bahuvachanani ekashaha. Yasmat pratyaya vidhi tadadi pratyaya angam. These are various sutras that are applicable here. And the way a student of Ashtadhyayi derives this word from Ramena, from Rama plus Ta, machine is showing all that derivation because it's all programmatic. Similarly, we have another program where the Samastapada generation can be shown. So we have here this compound generator generates a Sanskrit compound from an Alaukika Vigraha. What is Alaukika Vigraha? The Vigraha for, let us take Rajnyaha Purushaha, a man who is related to king. This is the normal Laukika Vigraha. Alaukika Vigraha is Rajannas Purusha Su. Now, Purusha has this Vibhakti Su, Rajan has Vibhakti Nas, and the speaker desires to make a compound out of it. So, how this compound formation takes place? Panini has given the systematic procedure for it. We have here some list of examples that are discussed in Siddhanta Kaumudi and other Vyakarana texts. So let us see these examples. There are several examples, Akesha, Su, Bharya, Su, etc. But we want, let me take Rajannas Purushasu. Here is Rajannas Purushasu. So I submit this example to machine. So what is machine doing? It says Rajannas Purushasu is a Shashti Tat Purusha Samasa. Okay? The Vidhayaka Sutra for making this, making a compound out of it is Shashti, which is 2 to 8 from the second Adhyaya, second Pada, 8th Sutra. If we continue further, it says, well, here there is no Samasanta Pratyaya to be added. Now, this Rajannas Purushasu, it gets a Pratipadika Samnya because of the Sutra Kruttadhita Samasascha, which is from first Adhyaya, second Pada, 46th Sutra. Further, it says that in this Rajannas Purushasu, Shashti, the word Shashti is in Prathama, and Prathama Nirdishtam, Samasa Upasarjanam. So, Rajan is the Prathama Nirdishta. It gets Upasarjana Samnya because of Prathama Nirdishtam Samasa Upasarjanam. Then there is a sutra, Upasarjanam Purvam. So, Rajan, already it is in the Purva Sthana only, so there is no change here. I am going to skip this. This is a bit technical one. I just put no. Then there is a sutra which says Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho, which says that the sup gets deleted. So these sups, nas and su, they get deleted. And we have Raja, Rajan changes to Raja, and we get Raja Purusha. So all these rules are implemented using a tool for compiler constructions. It is called lexical analyzer and compiler YAC. Okay, what do they do? Let me just give analogy with computer programming languages. In computer programming languages, for every programming language, there will be a manual describing the syntax of that language. In Ashtadhyayi, the Paribhasha Sutras form that syntax. They tell us how to interpret a sutra. And then in computer programming, we have a compiler which compiles all the program that is written into a binary code. So for that compilation, it uses the syntax of the language, and for that a program is written which takes the program as the input and generates a binary code. Like this, here we have written a program which compiles, which looks at the sutras given by Panini and decides which sutra to be applied when, etc., on a given text, on a given input, and produce the output. So it is exactly parallel to what we do in programming languages. So this is just a demonstration for some 400 sutras, and we can we need to do it for all the 4,000 sutras of Ashtadhyayi. So I think I should stop here and invite questions. Uh, so next half an hour or so we can spend on question answering. I stop here, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Please.
Okay. So any questions?
Yes. It's open for questions now. Anyway.
Madam, we are very happy that you have taken the aspects of programming the language.
Huh.
The question is that when you were discussing about the Gatosta Marka,
Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, sir.
Please, madam.
Madam, ଗୋଟେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଛି ତ, so they is taking little warm water. ବହୁତ କମ.
बहुत जोर
Yeah.
बहुत बहुत कष्ट କରୁଛନ୍ତି. The language, her voice is very sweet. That's why it is very appealing.
And presentation is very nice. That is also it is a
very nice presentation.
Sorry, sir. Yeah, there was some disturbance.
No,
Yeah.
You are suffering from a cold, but still you are struggling to. But
No, it's, yeah. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir. You were asking about Gatosta Markaha.
Gatosta Marka. In such similar examples, there are many sets of meanings.
Yes.
As you were explaining, that for different sets of meanings, this present computer is not helping much.
Yes.
There must be some other higher machines, or there must be research going on in those fields.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our Alankara Shastras, particularly, they have also based their knowledge on Vyakarana Shastras. So, Alankara Shastras, they give, and later also the other philosophical works on grammar. You must be knowing all these things. So, they supply you different contextual meanings.
Exactly. Yes.
Similarly, my question is, whether this machine translation, they have taken all the contextual interpretations that are available in our traditional texts, whether, or they are trying to give you inputs for different contextual meanings or sets of meanings.
Yes.
Madam, this much I want to ask.
So
the different sets of meaning.
Yeah. So yes, as you have said, there are different shades of meanings. But now, in a given context, which meaning is correct? To teach that, we need machine to understand the context, right? And in order to understand the context, you need to do some discourse analysis. Okay, it's not sufficient to just understand the sentential analysis, but how one sentence is related to another. Okay, and that work is not yet done. We only when we do that discourse analysis, then we can understand the context and then we can use it. Okay.
Thank you, madam, very much.
But anyway, we have to feed the computer.
They explain many things.
We need to,
Our analysis must be fed to the computer. Unless we fed to the computer systematically.
No. We are not feeding our analysis to computer. What we are feeding is
meaning division.
What we are feeding is the grammar rules. That's it.
That's correct. That's correct. No, this
but
semantic
analysis,
division.
semantics we are not directly giving to machine, because still we do not know how to give the semantics, but lexical or lexical categorization we can.
Is that possible? Yes.
Yeah, that we can do. Yes. So Vaisheshika ontology we are using. We are using the grammar lexical categories as well as the semantic categories as described in Vaisheshika that we are using.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Professor Kulkarni, thank you very
Yes.
much for today's talk. You discussed many important aspects of machine functioning of the machine. Just as a layman, I probably missed that point regarding the rhythm of any text, poetry. Can
Yes.
machine help in this regard?
Yes, very good question. So this rhythm, if we want to know what kind of chanda is there,
Yeah.
there are various tools that are developed to know what is the chanda.
Hmm.
So it will you just input the shloka.
Okay.
Machine will say it is Anushtupa Chanda or it is Sragdhara and so on. Machine will automatically uh, show you, decide based on Laghu Guru and Gana, etc., what kind of Chanda it is. Even uh, if you uh, if you input something which has something wrong in it, some typing mistake, it will say probably it is this chanda, and you correct this particular word which has gone wrong. So that much intelligence there is that much intelligence is built into machine. Further, related to alankaras, now one student is working on developing deciding whether there is yamaka or not. If it is yamaka, if it is adi, madhya, vansha, chakraka, what kind of yamaka it is. Okay, so it is possible to uh, do process and decide the shabdalankara. Arthalankaras is difficult, but shabdalankaras we can handle very easily. Okay, so that
Okay.
work is in progress.
Suppose
Huh.
in my mother tongue,
Huh.
Bengali, there are three
Huh.
types of rhythmic styles.
Okay.
One is syllabic, that is on the basis of syllable, and the
Yes.
other is moric, that is on the basis of mora, the
Huh.
quantity of each syllable,
Yes.
and there
Yes.
is the mixed type or the composite style. That
Huh.
means we will have to fit that rules regarding
Huh.
the different types of styles, metrical styles, and that you will
Huh.
have to fit to the
Huh.
machine, and
Huh.
then it can recognize. Is
Yeah.
there any particular tool?
Yes. It there is a one. Uh, I I will have to search this. Let me search it for you. Just a minute. Give
Okay.
me 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I will show you. Share my screen. Uh, okay. So
It's very small. I cannot see.
just a minute. Just a minute. Can you see this?
No, too small.
Uh,
No, madam, she is seeing in the mobile, so it is difficult.
okay. So here you can type the shloka. So let
Acha.
me get.
Oh, it is a
Okay.
meter identifier.
Yes. So
Huh.
Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I need to type in Devanagari, I think. So let me type.
Okay, so
Ram.
if I give
Okay.
the search on meter identifier, I can get, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank you very
just
much.
only this much I have given. It has not identified. It does not
Huh.
perfectly match any known meter, but
Okay.
okay. But this is there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
It
very
says
much.
it says it is Panchali. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has identified this as Panchali. I do not know whether it is correct or wrong. You decide it. Okay. Uh,
Sir, have you given the YouTube site, madam?
Pardon?
YouTube
This is
site you told you will give
uh, YouTube site for what?
this program
No, no.
recording.
This is
This recording.
recording. Sir will be giving.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. And this is Sanskrit Meters apospot.com, and you can go to this to identify the meters. Okay.
Actually, those who want YouTube, they can send a request in our mail so that we will be sending to them. Those who want, no, not okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yes, even
Namaste, sir. The YouTube link is in the chat box.
Hello.
Okay. Ah,
Hello.
the link.
Link
Hello.
to yesterday's lecture is in the chat box. YouTube link.
Hello.
Today's lecture will be uploaded soon.
Yes, Sanjay Lankar.
Hello.
Yes, please speak.
Hello.
Are you tell?
Good morning,
Yes,
madam. Good morning. Good morning to all of my teachers who are listening it and to participants. I have very simple question. Actually, you may know it. Once Austin says,
Huh?
a bare proposition of a sentence is absolutely nothing unless, nothing means not useful, unless it is used in context or any kind of situation. This is the line given by J.L. Austin, and he has told it in 1955 at Oxford University in his lecture. If you think about it and connect it to your program, to your research that you presented here, and here you said that if present computer is not able to deal with the Vyanjana and Lakshana, and present computer does not deal with the use of meaning in context, and very clearly the information structure of meaning system of a particular language. This is very clearly you presented here. So that my simple question is, what is the accuracy of machine translation in communication and in real life use of real life situation?
Okay. Fine. So, what we are developing is not a machine translation system. We call it Anusaraka. Okay. So, what is this Anusaraka? And why we are not going for machine translation? Because we know that there are limitations of translation. Whether it is human-made or machine-made translation, we know there are limitations. We cannot rely on any of the human translations also, right? So suppose we know that our let us take the example of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is already translated into several languages. Okay, even in your mother tongue it would have been translated. But if you look at the translation, do you get a satisfaction? You still will have questions. Oh, is it this said this way in Sanskrit? And you would like to go back to the original Sanskrit and try to understand it, right? So always there is this there is a kind of we don't have faith in the translation. For translation, there are two important things. One thing is it should be faithful. The second thing is it should be natural in the target language. If you try to be faithful, you will not be natural in target language. If you want to be natural in target language, it may not be faithful. So what we are doing is we are trying to produce a kind of reflection of Sanskrit in your language, and try to, this reflection will not be will be a bit distorted, but try to imagine what is being said in Sanskrit. So for that purpose, we are providing the complete Sanskrit original text with analysis, etc., in front of you, and you try to guess the meaning, you try to understand it yourself. This is what our effort is. We are not aiming at machine translation. We don't want, we know that there are limitations of translation, even for human
Yeah,
beings.
yeah,
Forget
yeah, yeah,
about the machines. Okay. But of
yeah,
course,
yeah, yeah.
there are situations where if we can get a quick gist of what is there, that will help us in deciding whether to
Ha,
go for a translation or not. Okay.
Yeah, Professor Das.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Professor,
ha,
Patnaik, sir.
madam,
yeah, yeah.
madam,
No, no,
actually,
no, no.
my
Lenka,
question is,
Namaskar.
my
wait, wait,
question
wait,
is,
wait. Lenka, just listen.
Yeah.
First
Yeah,
one
yeah.
ha,
See,
question.
listen.
Further, we'll come back again.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
one question, at
See,
least from 80
see,
participants, one by one.
my
So
maid
you
has
wait
not,
for next.
my
You
maid
wait.
has not come, and I'm making breakfast.
Yeah,
So in
Professor
fact, let
Patnaik,
me make
please.
the point and go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
please
yes,
tell,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please.
So,
Yeah.
I have just some comments to make. I'm
Okay.
not asking any questions.
Uh-huh.
Number one, I mean, I would like to say that the work that Professor Kulkarni has done is outstanding. To implement on the machine the Avidha Lakshana Bandhana and the interpretation of non-literary meaning, is an absolutely difficult task. And she and her team deserve a credit for this. And probably, I don't know, maybe Ambaji will correct me. Probably she's the first person in the world to do this. I do not know, but perhaps that is the case.
For Sanskrit, of course, we have done
Yeah,
it.
doesn't
Following
doesn't
the
really,
tradition, yes.
doesn't really
Following
matter.
tradition, nobody
If,
else
no,
has done
if
this.
you have done it for one language, you do it for other languages because the system is available. I mean, because the procedure is available.
Yes, sir.
So,
First thing is,
congratulations for this.
she has done faithfully to the tradition.
And
Traditional
and
is,
and the other thing is she mentioned while discussing Yogyata and also discussing Vyanjana, she said that no, there are things which the computer cannot handle. Now, I have one comment to make here. You see, I mean, it is not interesting. I mean, I'm not interested in whether the present generation of computers can handle or not. The real problem is not with the computer, no matter how powerful a computer you build in future. The real problem is we have to give that knowledge to the computer, to the machine.
Exactly.
Now,
Yes.
we do not know what we know.
Yeah.
That is the main
Exactly.
problem. We do
Very
not know what we
thank.
know.
Yes.
And
Thank
the
you. Thank you
context.
very much, sir, for
Yeah,
putting it
and
in a right
since we do
perspective.
not know
Yeah.
what we know, the
Yes.
knowledge of the community, I mean, I don't know what I know. So the knowledge of community is an extremely difficult thing to, we don't even know it. What shall we implement? That's number one. And the second thing is sort of related to this. That is, yeah, we don't know what we know. Yeah, and then once we know what we know, then we can develop a kind of formal system and see whether it's
Yes.
computer acceptable. But
Right.
these are questions of a different type. But first
Yeah.
thing is we don't know. The second thing is, you see this question of context. She said that in Bandhana, you change the context, you change the speaker, and here are relationship and the things change. Okay. Now, the point is, you see this question of context. It is unpredictably, large,
Yes. Yeah.
unpredictable. So if it is that, what will you implement?
Yeah.
So what we cannot do on the machine is simply a reflection of what we do not know ourselves.
Yeah.
So that is the
Exactly.
problem. So
Exactly.
these are the two things. It was a pleasure listening to you, Professor
So,
Bhaji.
thank you, sir. I am so
And
much
Shankar,
blessed.
I apologize. I'm
No,
sorry
no,
because
no.
my maid hasn't come. I'm making breakfast. I have to rush.
No,
Okay.
I'm blessed by your presence, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sanjay, sorry.
Thank you. Yes. Any other question?
There is something I wanted a clarification. Yesterday, madam, you said Sanskrit is as ambiguous as any other language. And
Yeah.
we have been learning from the beginning of this course that but grammar and particularly the Panini grammar is very useful for removal of doubts.
Yes.
Asahandasam Adhyanam Vyakaranam. So how
Yeah,
do we
yeah.
reconcile these two things?
See, there is a language and there is a grammar. Grammar is very perfect. Grammar tells you how to interpret something. But in a language, you can put the things in ambiguous way. Let me give an example. See, there is this Nala Damayanti Swayamvara is there. Okay. And in that context, this different uh, devatas, Yama, Agni, etc., they appear in the disguise of Nala. And now there are five Nalas, and Damayanti has to choose the correct one. And very beautifully, the poet has expressed all the described all these five Nalas in various disguises using only one shloka. Okay, Saraswati recites the same shloka while describing each one of them, and based on the accent, Damayanti now knows who is the correct Nala. So, this accent actually is distinguishing one compound from the other. And then Damayanti is, uh, she could decide who is the correct, who is the real Nala among all these. So, you see, the language is ambiguous, but the tools that help us in understanding the meaning of each of these tools, the grammatical tools, are perfect, and they help us in deciphering it in more than one ways. Okay,
Okay,
does
thank
it
you.
does it help you? See, what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, thank
telling
you very
is,
much, madam.
see, what I'm telling you is the Shastra is perfect. Okay, and if you follow that Shastra as a tool to understand, even if there is ambiguity, there will not be any problem in understanding it. Because it will say systematically, this is possible, this is possible, and this is possible, and these things are not possible. Okay?
Thank you, madam.
Okay. Any other question?
Hello, madam. Good morning, madam. I have a
Good morning.
question.
Yes.
And good morning, all of you, those who are present over here.
Can you introduce
I have
yourself?
a,
Can you
sir.
introduce?
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, myself, Vishwaranjan Das from Sikya Anusandhani University, Bhubaneswar, and the research scholar from Maharaja Sri Ramchandra Bhansdev University from Baripada. Presently, I am doing machine translation. Actually,
Okay.
my background is computer science and engineering.
Mhm. Okay.
So my guide is my professor Hima Bindu Madam from Baripada and Niladri Sekhar, Professor Niladri Sekhar Das sir
Okay. Okay.
from ISI Kolkata.
Okay.
And my question is, Madam, actually, as per computer science and mathematics is concerned,
Hmm.
whatever you told today or whatever you gave a lecture today,
Huh.
basically, I think it's a classification problem. That means who is karta, who is karma, something like that. And yeah, I think basically you have used in a rule-based system.
Yes.
I think it is also possible for any statistical method, or if you take a corpus-based method, uh, I can say it is also possible for classification. Many times we have used. I find over here, Rama Banam Gachati. Ram is karta. Sometimes it is noun, and Banam karma, and Gachati verb. I think it is a classification problem. Am I right, madam?
See, you are right in that it is a classification problem,
Yeah.
and to a certain extent, we can use corpus, we can use statistics, but in order to achieve the perfectness,
Yes,
uh,
yes, ma'am.
the rule based will the linguistic knowledge will help you where the information is to identify the places where the information is. Or you can use Of course, rule based methods have their own limitations in the sense that we do not have, as Professor Patnaik
Yes,
has
yes.
pointed out, we do not have the information of Yogyata, etc. For this, you are using these various statistical methods or corpus based methods, etc. Machine learning, deep learning is going towards that, but
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
at some point in time, you will still have a requirement of a theory, and this theoretical base is available only in Sanskrit, nowhere else. The Sanskrit Shastras provide you the strong theoretical base. No matter you use statistics, corpus, deep learning,
Yes, yes.
after say maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now, you will be stopped, you will be handicapped if you do not have the theoretical base. And in Indian Shastras, we have that strong theoretical base. And now my appeal to all all Sanskrit scientists, the Vayakaranas, Mimamsakas, and Nayayikas is you should take these studies seriously and continue this tradition, because in a few years from now these theories are very much needed. So you need to continue these studies, but with application orientedness in your mind. Just don't there should be prayojanam vina mandopi na pravartate. So there should be prayojana for doing these studies, and there is, I see there is a lot of scope in the near future also. Not near future, in future I will say, for our shastras. But we need to take these studies seriously. Don't take it just lightly and say, oh, it is there, and what is the use in today's life, etc. Okay.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you for your good
Thank
suggestion.
thank you.
With your permission, I would leave now. Thank you, Professor
Thank you, sir.
Ambaji.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Krishna ji.
for
Thank you very much.
today's wonderful lecture.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, Professor Dash, for arranging this
Thank
important
you.
lecture. And
Thank
I
you,
am
sir.
also happy to meet Ambaji after so many
Yes,
years.
and I am really blessed to have all people like yourself, Professor Patnaik, Professor D.P. Patnaik. I saw many stalwarts are here who also are giving feedback to me on my work. I am really thankful to you. So, yeah, if there are no more questions, it's already
Ma'am,
9:40. Yes.
ma'am, I just want to ask one thing.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, like
Yes.
what I have understood is that when it comes to the design of language, that is very
Hmm.
perfect, and that helps us in analyzing the language with the help of computer also.
Hmm. Hmm.
But when it comes to capturing the meaning aspect of language,
Hmm.
that that is still not possible with the help of these computer
Yes.
technologies
Right.
or
Right.
the contemporary technologies that we have.
Yes. Yes.
But ma'am,
Yes.
what do you think? What is your opinion? Is it possible in future to capture this meaning aspect also? Because Sanskrit
See,
is like
as no,
science.
as Professor Patnaik has pointed out,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
we ourselves know how to capture it, we
Hmm.
can teach machine.
Hmm.
Okay. If we
Since
do
we do
not
not,
know, we cannot teach. So
since
we
we do
need to
not.
first, yeah. So now we need to see, maybe in our literature there might be some more further details which need to be
Hmm.
explored further. See, we have a wide range of shastras. We have looked only at Vyakarana and some part of Mimamsa. We
Yes.
have the Alankara Shastra, we have
Hmm.
Natya Shastra. All these we need to explore for the meaning. Okay?
So
We have
there,
not explored them from computational point of view.
there is a possibility that in our Indian Shastra system,
Yes,
we can
yes,
have a
because
theoretical framework that can be utilized for this purpose also.
definitely, but we need to look at it from different perspective.
Okay, ma'am.
From computational perspective, we need to look at these shastras.
Okay.
So we need to change the prayojana now. Our
Yes.
prayojana is to see the applicability of these in the present context.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't study shastras for the sake of shastras. Study
Yes.
them from the application point of view.
Point of view. Yes.
Okay?
Ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Namaste,
you.
ma'am. Namaste, sir.
So, namaste. So, shall we wind it up? It is 9:40 or...
Any, Pyari, you have any question? Pyari?
You have to unmute
Sound,
yourself,
sound.
sir.
Unmute. Sound. He was professor and head of Sarvadarsana of Jagannath Sanskrit University.
Namaskar.
Yesterday we were talking, I told him that is. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Your sound is not there.
Unmute
We
kara.
can't hear you.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear.
Namaskar to all.
Namaskar.
I am speechless. Shall I say? I want to know how can I be fit for this program myself.
Okay. Okay. So first thing, of course, what you can do is just have a look at our website, see what interests you, and if you think that you can contribute in any way for in any of these aspects, we can be in touch, and then we can have further discussions.
Okay. Starting your poll. Okay.
सुन पहले
Madam, we are benefited much through your lecture. There are different texts. I think they have not been taken to for machine translation or designing the computational methods. But our Parimohan Patnaik, professor, was telling, he has analyzed the philosophical texts in a analytical method.
Okay.
I think he can take your guidance through your lecture that he can put them in a computational way, because he has already done some works.
He will be in touch.
Some philosophical
No.
works.
He will be in touch with her so that she will know what is there. That will be going. It will continue.
Sure.
We will continue.
Sure,
Yes.
sure, sir. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Another small addition. Our Vishwanath Kaviraj from Odisha, he has taken Tatparya Vritti. Besides Abhidha, Lakshana and Vyanjana, he is discussing on Tatparya Vritti.
Yes.
How far this will add to our theory? Those who have already accepted this only three Abhidha, Lakshana and Vyanjana, but Tatparya, he takes all contextual meanings, etc.
Yes.
In Sahitya Darpana, in the second chapter, he has analyzed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So actually, I have not looked at Tatparya in detail. Just once I read it, I myself have to understand it properly. So maybe we can have some discussions on Tatparya Vritti and then see how we can go ahead. So actually, we can form some small, sir, this is Dashji, Seniruddha Dashji. This is a suggestion to you that those who are interested in applying some of these things further to computer, we can have a discussion once in a month on some of these serious topics like Tatparya Vritti, as has been mentioned by
Yes,
sir.
sure.
Okay.
Yes.
We
Actually,
can do that.
Madam, yesterday I was talking to Perry and also Sarangi sir. We are going to take up all our theoretical discussions in our tradition, Mimamsa, Nyaya, even this Vaisheshika. So we are, Pyari is my classmate, so we are very close. So we are going to have courses, even classes on these particular theoretical discussions in our traditional shastras. So we will make use of the shastric knowledge for the present and application, that how
Sure,
we
sir.
should understand whether it is
Sure.
computer or linguistics or even language analysis.
Yeah.
We'll use our traditional knowledge, which
Good.
is very classified, logically simplified, also analyzed. So we have always context.
Yeah.
So
And
Sthala, Thala.
yeah.
Yes,
And one more suggestion.
yes,
Look at this for the analysis of Odia language itself.
very much.
Okay.
It is very
Right.
much in our
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
We are
So
doing
that,
that.
yeah.
Yes, yes,
So that you have a Paninian model for Odia language, and
exactly.
then that can be used further. Right
Yes.
now, currently we are working on Telugu parser following Panini's grammar.
Okay.
Similarly,
Okay.
we can work on Odia grammar,
Yes,
parsing
sir.
Odia
Yeah.
sentences from
Yes.
Panini's grammar,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes.
so on. Okay.
But I have now written in Odia, trying it. So because we have to give with all evidence with proofs, I am working with the Panini Sutra and
Okay.
our Odia
Okay.
grammar also. And
Good.
also,
Good.
actually, my plan is also to use Panini as the base for Indian languages. I'm
Okay.
trying to both Southern or say Dravidian Aryan. We have one structure. Syntactically, semantically, we are very close. So that is our main goal also, to link all our languages with this particular method, so that we can tell that our languages are very close to each other, and it is
Right.
one language we speak in different forms. So that is
Right.
all our, we should have an understanding. We should not make difference between languages. We should not have any heterogeneous. That is, so we
Okay.
should
Okay.
understand Panini first, and then we can go to computer. So that will be our main goal. So I thank you, madam, for
Thank you, sir. Thank
giving
you
this
very much, and
opportunity to
namaste.
listen to you and make our participants, even all those, to know the reality that we are, our tradition is very much now expected, or say, wanted in future. Unless we take it in proper way, we will not be able to deliver goods to our. So Indian knowledge system must be more exposed, and it should be shared with all experts in all fields, maximum possible, through our this best. So with all your cooperation, thank you, madam, for joining with us. We'll be in touch with you, and we'll be working with you, so that we'll bring out all language aspects and
Sure,
with
sir.
the traditional way. Thank you, madam. Thank
Namaste.
you so much.
Namaste, sir.
So
Namaste.
thank
Thank